Alright, hey everybody. This video is a little bit different from most videos I make. I don't normally make political videos, but this one is gonna get political. But guys, there is a dark horse candidate in the 2024 presidential election that no one is talking about. No one is talking about. He's not Republican and he's not Democrat. He is part of his kind of a smaller party, but I predict that this party, especially this guy, can make a big splash next year. And I figured I'd talk about this because, well, we're gonna see who the next president is. We're gonna find out who gets elected next in less than a year. It's December 2023. Elections in November 2024. So we're gonna see. But the guy I want to talk about goes by the name of Brian Hoyer. I'll put a picture of him on the screen, but he's an interesting guy. Now, like I said, he's not Republican or Democrat, which might be a nice change of pace for some people, because most people, I don't know about most people, but a lot of people just hate the two-party system. You know, they just wish there were more options. And this guy does provide a good third option, really. Or fourth or fifth or whatever. He does provide a really good option, I believe. Yeah, his name is Brian Hoyer, and he is part of the Bald People Supremacy Party. I know that might sound, really bad, like supremacy of one kind of people, like it's really bad, like white supremacy is a bad thing, so why would we want bald people supremacy? But it's really not like, it's less of like, oh, bald people should be in control of everything, bald people should be top of the hierarchy. It's more of just like, it's really more like bald people's rights, but they just call it supremacy because bald people are, of course, suppressed in today's society, and they want more representation, and to really get the word out there, they gotta call it that, something like that. Bald people supremacy. Don't let that scare you. I think they should change the name to like Bald People's Rights, or like, I don't know, something that's a working title, but bald people's, I don't know, okay, but the Bald People Uprising maybe. But the Bald People Supremacy Party, which it does lean right, more Republican, more conservative, a little bit, but not like a lot, like just lean, like it's not far, it's not radical right, it just leans a little bit to the right. So yeah, and the reason why I say that he could potentially be a dark horse candidate, because he's a football player, I'm pretty sure he plays for the Raiders, and he's probably going to retire soon. He's 38, so he's a nice young candidate if you're looking for a young guy, because we've had some old presidents recently. Past two have been very old guys. So he's a nice young option, I mean, you got guys like Vivek Ramaswamy or something, maybe Ron DeSantis is kind of young, but this guy is a little less radical than them, and he is, he's for the people, really. I mean, he's a true American, he plays in the NFL, American football, and he's been playing for a long time. Like I said, he's 38, so he's a true American, he's a true patriot, okay? Actually, he used to play for the Patriots, too. Some people might see that as a bad thing, like, oh, well, he's capitalist scum. That's not what he is. He loves his country, but that's a good thing, because, well, you should love your country. That's a good thing, because he's gonna do what's best, of course, for the country. But I just seen the way he speaks. You can look up speeches of his and press conferences of his and whatever. He speaks well, and he embodies what an American president should be. Like everything it should be, I think, anyway. He kind of almost reminds me of a John F. Kennedy kind of guy. A younger guy who's well-spoken, really just knows what he's talking about. Someone you can definitely trust, unlike, maybe a lot of people in politics today that most people would say. I'm not going to get into that, but Brian Hoyer, he's just a different option. He's a big different option from the big party candidates, and nobody's talking about him because most people interested in politics probably just probably don't trust like former football players as candidates. Like that's weird, you know. I don't remember who that one governor of California was. I think he was like a wrestler, professional wrestler or something. He was cool, right? He was good. So why not a football player, you know? Like I think it just makes sense. But yeah. But his main points are just, you know, I mean, respect for bald people, because bald people are so discriminated nowadays. You know, it's just people are like, oh, baldy, you little baldy, baldy this chrome dome. You know, like and it's wrong. It's so wrong. Like, why are we doing this to bald people? Brian Hoyer is bald, of course, but he's part of the community. He has a different perspective that most of the people, just a lot of other people don't have. Like, I definitely don't have that perspective. But just looking through his eyes, like his lens, like the way he sees the world, is so interesting. I love it. And people could really learn a lot from this dude. I mean, come on, dude. Like history of bald people, you know, this just everything, all bald achievements, bald people achievements. He's even petitioning for Bald History Month in October, which is a great thing to do. Which also I think goes along with NFL Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So there's that. Okay, so it's also it's gonna be great. Okay, so if we like this man, we gotta like this man. Okay, so and some people might see like bald people. What was it? Bald people matter. Bald people month. Celebration of bald people. Whatever it's gonna be called. Some people might see that as like, oh, that's like, why? What's the point, right? You know, what's really the point of that? Well, it's like Black History Month. You know, like, you know, the accomplishments of black people, accomplishments of bald people. What's the difference, right? There's no difference there. There really isn't. So people who don't think that should be a thing, don't think bald people month should be a thing, but think black people, African and American History Month should be a thing, are really just, how would I put this? They're really just, I don't know. I don't want to say double standard, but they're really, I don't want to say hypocrite either. I don't know, but you know, if you gotta have one, I think it'd be nice to have the other. You know, I think if you can have one, you should have the other too. But you know, yeah, bald people rights. That's one big thing. You know, and then just getting bald people into, you know, more positions in today's world. You know what I'm saying? You know, like if you look at the statistics, man, bald people make up a very small percentage of, you know, CEOs nowadays of Fortune 500 countries, and, you know, NFL head coaches even, actually, and, you know, a lot of other places, you know, a lot of local businesses who are failing, crashing, are bald people, and a lot of them that are succeeding aren't bald people. So like, it's kind of, there's not a really word for discrimination against bald people. At least I don't think there might be. But then he's also advocating for things like, you know, bald people research, like, you know, what happens in male pattern baldness and things like alopecia that cause baldness. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's trying to go into research for this. Not saying that these need to be eradicated, because bald people are cool. You should accept them for who they are. But just seeing, you know, like, oh, what causes this, and how we can inform the people that they are not misguided by fake news. And it's not all just about bald people, right? Bald people rights, bald people this, bald people that, you know. And one more actual bald person thing note real quick about this is that he's advocating to have people shave their heads. And like, there's this new thing every October 19th. He wants to put in it's an optional, but it's a big celebratory thing. shave your head for Bald People Day. Okay, no, I made that one up. But no, he's not just all about, bald people and stuff like that. But because he has other things too. I heard a kid. Brian Hoyer isn't just advocating for bald people. He's more than just that. Because if it was just that, like people with hair probably wouldn't. Not a whole lot of people would vote for him. He's also pushing for free healthcare, right? Free healthcare, a great thing. People should have access to a great healthcare system. They can get free. People who are really poor, who can't afford normal healthcare, getting run over by the government with that. He wants affordable healthcare, not just affordable healthcare, but free healthcare, universal free healthcare. Also, immigration laws. He's trying to open up borders more because hard for a lot of people to get over the border. And I know, yes, we should crack down on illegal smuggling of like drugs and stuff. But there's more ways to do that, and he is trying to implement new ways to do that. But one more thing that Brian Hoyer stands for, and it's amazing that I just really love. Like one of the most important things, almost as important as the bald people thing, but not quite as important, but almost as important as the bald people thing. He's trying to put more clocks up all around the world. You see, there's a lot of people who just don't know what time it is, right? And the common response to that is, time for you to get a watch. Like someone's like, oh, what time it is? I'm just like, oh, time for you to get a watch. Yeah, I know a lot of people nowadays have phones, but people forget their phones all the time. So why don't we put more clocks up for people who don't know what time it is, especially for homeless people? Put them on walls of every building, on every side, so maybe even a few clocks on each side of every single building. Put them in the middle of the road, really, in the middle of the yellow, of the two yellow stripes. Just put it right down the middle there, and people can drive by and like, oh, a clock. Oh, see what time it is. Or people who are just on the sidewalk and just look over and be like, oh, it's 6:06. I know, yes, people in cars have clocks in their cars, but maybe it's not working. So I think it's really cool that's advocating for that. Also because clocks also don't have hair, and so they're bald too. I think more clocks for just because the population's increasing too. Like so many freaking people in today's world now. 8 billion, expected to reach 10 billion in like a couple of decades. It's gonna be insane because like 10 billion is gonna make that one. So I think increase of people, increase of clocks as well is gonna be great. So that's why I think Brian Hoyer is a dark horse candidate. Does he have flaws? Yes, of course he does. Everyone does. But I'm not going to get into those today. Those are just the positives. I want you to think about that. And next time you're voting, when you're voting in 2024, if you're eligible to vote, I am not. But if I was, I probably would vote for Brian Hoyer. Now, of course, do your own research about him. Come to a consensus for yourself. And remember, bald lives matter. They sure do. Bye.